Well, hello and welcome to this short video highlighting some of the key features in Voyant AdviserGo, which is our goal-based holistic financial planning platform. And it's a web-based platform, so you can use it on a laptop, a desktop, or a tablet, including iPads. So any device that has connectivity to the internet. I'm just going to show you the key features that are in the software. If you need more detail about the software, contact support@planwithvoyant.co.uk or look out for our other videos on our website. So we're looking at the dashboard screen in AdviserGo. I've accessed AdviserGo by logging into our UK website, www.planwithvoyant.co.uk, and entered my username and password. And here is a plan that I've already created for Richard and Caroline Dawson. You can see the client names up at the top right hand side. I'm in their base plan, the plan where I've input all of the fact find data that I know about them to date and projected it forwards over their lifetime. Let me just show you one of the new features that we've added in by clicking on the profile icon at top right hand corner. This is where you can return to your homepage, so your list of clients. You can amend your profile as it appears on your reports, but very importantly, we can come to preferences and set up how Voyant displays on your screen. You can choose whether or not you want to show the dashboard chart on your dashboard screen. Whilst I'm building plans, I like to have the dashboard chart there because it reacts as I add data in and I see the chart build in front of my eyes. For presenting to clients, you may prefer to hide the screen, so turn this to no, and then you can lead the clients up towards the big reveal of their cash flow by working through the dashboard screen and the timeline, and then going to the Let's See screen to look at the chart. Very importantly, do turn on inline help. It's our new at your fingertips help function, and I'll demonstrate that in just a minute. So let's close that down. I'm now back on my dashboard screen without the chart at the top. If I click the downward pointing arrow, I can reveal all of the data that I've added into the plan to date, the people in the plan. Note that every person in the plan now gets their own identifiable colour, which will denote the ownership of events and the ownership of goals, expenses, incomes, and items within the plan. So you can see these coloured icons as we go down the side of the screen. I'm doing goal-based financial planning, so I've added my key expenses as goals. To add a goal or anything else to the plan, click the plus button and choose which items you want to add. A goal is a trackable expense. I use it to highlight to the client, are they on track to achieve what they want to with their money? So here you can see I've added in various goals, including some short-term spending on university costs and gifts to the children. And then I've added some long-term goals looking at their spending in retirement. This is the lifestyle that they want to achieve. Are they on track to do it? And in the base plan, yes, they are. If I scroll down the dashboard, you'll see the rest of the items that I've added. You'll see a linking item where I've linked one thing to another. For example, here I've linked a mortgage to the home. So you can see the little linking items on each of those. At the bottom, we have a carryover assumptions screen. This is where I can add historic tax information for clients. So information about protection on their lifetime allowance or how much of the LTA they've used already. If they've inherited any nil rate band or if they've made pets that need to be tapered out, etc. Right down at the bottom of the dashboard screen is my plan settings. This is where I set up all of the assumptions I want to use for this particular client going forwards over the lifetime of the plan. So my assumptions about future growth rates and inflation, assumptions about fees, and instructing the software how or in which order to draw down on invested assets if it needs to. But of course, I can override all of this by creating what-if scenarios and setting up a very planned decumulation strategy. So that's the dashboard. One more highlight to focus on the dashboard is this section on the right-hand side. And I've got the option to show either the client's wealth in terms of assets by type. If you hover over the pie chart, you can see their property, their cash, their investments and their pensions. I might prefer to show them their assets versus liabilities, and so then look at their net worth. Or I could switch the chart view, and if I'm choosing to model by asset allocation, I can see where their different investments and pensions are held, in what sort of assets. That's the dashboard. Let's look at some of the key features on the timeline. We're doing client-centric, goal-based financial planning here, and the timeline is really key, building in points in time in the client's lifetime that are going to affect their planning. It might be a point in time when they stop working and move into retirement. It might be a point in time that they need to spend some money, whether it's on a gift to the children, having a new kitchen, buying a holiday home in France. All of these points in time I mark with an event icon. Again, to add an event icon, I click the plus button and add an event. I can name the event, I can choose an icon, and the software will allocate a color depending on the ownership of the event. I can look at the people in the plan, and I can hide people. Click off their names, focus on one person in the plan. What events relate to Josh? Bring the other people back into the plan and see all of the events. Are they on track to achieve their goals? Hover over the goal and see the beginning and end points of that goal highlighted on your timeline. That part of the timeline is brightened up. If it's a short-term goal, like Josh's university costs, see when that's happening. If it's a one-off goal, the gift to Sophie, see in what year that's happening. And over on the right-hand side, we've got a list of our events, the owners, their ages, and the years in which those events are happening. Let's have a look at the Let's See chart. You've got a range of chart views. You can either access them by clicking on the drop-down menu. You can hover on the right or left-hand side of your screen and scroll right to left to change the chart views. And you can swipe up and down as well if you're on a touchscreen device. I'm starting off on cash flow. I can choose whether or not I want to display the key. If I turn on the detailed view, I've got my key, my legend, up here. If I wanted to hide it, I can toggle it on and off by clicking on the 3 grey dots on the right-hand side of the screen. I can make the chart interactive. I can hide everything. Turn the chart red so that we're just focusing on what the client's intending to spend, and then bring in their sources of income or the points at which we're drawing on liquid assets to meet those expenses. Tell the story. Whilst you're working, you've got plenty of money in most years to meet your expenditure. You might have an inheritance or a one-off lump sum coming into the plan. What about retirement? What guaranteed income have you got? You've got your state pension and your DB scheme. How are you going to pay for the rest of your retirement lifestyle? You're going to use your savings and investments and your pensions. And just complete the picture by adding in any tax credits, which will represent higher rate tax relief on pension contributions. I can look at any of the other chart views, or I can put on a dual chart view and compare, for example, my cash flow with the assets that are underpinning it. If I go back to the single chart view and turn off the details and highlight, for example, assets, this chart is now also interactive. I can hide different asset classes, hide the illiquid assets and just focus on liquid assets. Focus on their pensions. You're building up pension monies whilst you're working and making contributions. You're spending down on them in retirement. Or I can put everything back in to complete the picture. If I hover over the chart, I can see the projected values in any given year. These are in nominal terms. Of course, that nominal value won't have the same spending power 20, 30 years into the future. I can convert that into real money terms by clicking on the 3 grey dots and clicking real money. What does real money show me? Use inline help. Click on the information button that pops up. It tells me it's stripping out CPI at 2.5% per annum. So it's translated those values into real terms, today's terms, if you like. Again, I can turn real money off again. Let's go back to my cash flow chart. If I want to focus on a particular part of their plan, I can zoom in or out. Again, use the zoom button. I've got plus or minus buttons to zoom in on the vertical axis, or I can use these sliders at the bottom to zoom into a particular period on the plan to see what's happening in more detail. So the ability to zoom in and zoom out is there. I've got a legacy screen. I can see a simple view, projecting it forwards into the future. Do we have a tax bill to pay? In this plan, they don't. I could also look at, instead of planned legacy, what if they both died in year 1? Again, in this plan, they don't have an IHT liability. I can expand the page and look at exactly what would be in their estate on death, the projected values, the projected IHT nil rate band, etc. If I'm doing before and after IHT planning, I can do a comparison view and put up a side-by-side view of IHT and net worth after paying the IHT on one screen. I've got insights. Insights are a range of tools that can help me answer clients' questions. How much do I need to achieve in terms of investment returns in order to have a successful plan? If I've got a shortfall in my plan, how much do I need to save or find as a lump sum in order to offset that shortfall? If one of us were to die, how much additional life cover might we need in order to avoid the other one having a shortfall? What would happen if I achieved more or less than I've anticipated? I can slide my performance up or down using the performance slider. What might the impact be of a market crash? Model that in. How much could we afford to spend in retirement? Let's have a look at this one. The green dots are again inline help. Hover over the dots underlining the name of the field or the insight so that the question mark appears and click on it. I get a little explanation about what this insight does. I can read more, which takes me to an article in my knowledge base. I can watch a video, or I can click for more help, see more resources, or send an email to the support team just by clicking. Close that down. Go to Run the Insight. Click Get Started. This insight is going to tell me how much I could afford to spend on average throughout retirement after tax in today's terms. $87,000 per annum. What would that do? It would run my liquid assets down to zero, but it gives me an indication of how much I'm on track to afford to spend. There are more insights in there as well. We've added IHT, loss capacity. How much could you afford to lose at any given point and still have a successful plan? If you choose to model by asset allocation, you can do some stochastic modeling. You can look at the volatility. Instead of showing the client linear growth, you can show them that probably we'll have good years and bad years, but what might the overall outcome be? We can look at the probability of having a successful plan by using the Monte Carlo insight. So a wide range of different tools that you can use to help explain the client's situation to them. And then we can go on to model alternative strategies or scenarios. We can create a what-if scenario by copying an existing plan, giving it a new name, and then making changes in the new plan without affecting the plan that we copied it from. Last but not least, you can generate reports. Show your client in written form the things that you may have showed to them live. You can include a financial summary, their assumptions, their fact find, maybe some of the detailed insights. You can include detailed reports as well if you want to. You can add those to the report. You can add in an alternative scenario. Add in the financial summary from that as well. You can switch on real money to use in the charts in the reports. Let's just rejig the order of the report. We can customize it. We're not talking about life insurance needs here, so I'll take those out. I want to show them cash flow detailed. And I'll do the same in the scenario where they retire early. And click Generate the Report. Whilst that's generating, you also have the opportunity to invite your client to view their own plan in the comfort of their own home. You can click on their name at the top and send them an invite. You send them an email to get them to set up a username and password on our website, and then you separately generate a PIN for them so they can log in with their username, password and PIN, and you set their permissions, which of the client plans or versions you want to show them. You can keep some of your what ifs hidden if you want to. The ones that you allow them to view are read-only. They can't change what you have built for them, but you can show them how to use the pre-built or the guided what ifs by using the what if button and look at the guided plan creations. Let's just have a quick look at the report that's popped up on the left-hand side of the screen, client name and your name and address on the front. Here's the summary. A summary of where they are now in their basic plan. What's their current net worth? What does their cash flow look like over their lifetime? Where is their wealth invested? Are they on track to meet their goals? What do they need to do to ensure that they are on track to meet those goals? They don't need to save anymore. They don't need to find any lump sums. They do need to ensure they achieve a 4.5% return after charges on their investments, and they could afford to spend $87,000 a year in today's terms after tax without doing any additional savings. But if they choose to retire early, how does the picture change? They start off with the same net worth, but they're working for fewer years, accumulating less in terms of pensions, savings and investments. That makes a big difference to the outcome of the plan. They've got a shortfall in there and they're no longer on track to achieve their goals. The goals have turned from green to amber. What would they need to do in order to have a successful plan or achieve their goals? Either save more now whilst they're working, or perhaps take a little bit more risk and invest to get a higher rate of return, or find a lump sum, maybe by doing a downsize, or trim back their spending expectations. So all of that is available as a quick snapshot for the client. Hopefully that's given you a quick overview of Voyant. If you're interested in finding out more, go to our website to look at the videos or email support@planwithvoyant.co.uk. Thank you for watching.